are worried about all the impacts on our environment of ill-considered investments in the fossil fuel industry, you have to stand with the Greens in this election. We are the only party talking about this stuff. We're the only party talking about climate change, to which the tar sands project is a huge contributor. If we had the right regulatory environment and the right financial environment for making energy choices, this project basically would not be happening. So it's not just a question of we need to...
Having said that, both Olivia Chow and Christine Innes gave us their party's policy on what would happen with the oil sands if their parties formed the government. What would the Green Party do specifically?
We would specifically have much tighter regulations on emissions. We would have a carbon tax and cap and trade. I'm not going to say I'm going to go personally there with a hard hat and shut it down, but I believe that would be the cumulative effect.
And the subsidy given to the oil sands?
And of course, all subsidies
that would be gone too?
Gone. All subsidies to all fossil fuels. It's not just the tar sands. This is a nationwide problem.
All right, okay. Jin Siu, your response to all of that, what is your attitude toward the oil sands or the tar sands?
Under the Conservative leader, our Prime Minister Stephen Harper, Canadian families deserve the best air, water, cleanest overall environment possible. This can be achieved without sacrificing any jobs, any sector, without instituting job-killing carbon tax. Since 2006, our Prime Minister Stephen Harper has invested $1 billion over green energy, $1 billion to support pulp and paper, reduce the GHG emission, and become leaders in renewable.
The question was about the oil sands in particular, and what, if anything, you would do. Some of the examples here are tighten up regulations.
Sure. We will certainly continue to invest into this area, whereby benefit all the Canadian families. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's hear from Mark on the phone. Mark, is he there? There he is. Mark, what's your question for the candidates here?
My question would be that, well, I used to have respect for Parliament, but, you know, we've seen a lot of scandals. We've seen the Liberal sponsorship scandal, and we've seen a number of scandals recently from the Conservative Party, and it's just become really hard to put faith in the people who represent us. And I'd just like to ask the candidates what they would do to end the scandals and restore some kind of faith in our politicians in Canada. Restoring
faith in politicians, okay. Rachel Barney, let me start with you. How can you help the caller here? How can you help Mark in restoring his faith in politicians?
Well, there are a number of things that we can do to empower individual MPs, and while doing that, we can also hold them more accountable than they currently are, and we can also hold cabinet ministers more accountable than they currently are. A big problem under Stephen Harper has been there's this huge concentration of power in the Prime Minister's office, and that's been sort of sucking up all the other functions of government. And you know, we need to restore independence to individual MPs and some independence to cabinet ministers. And we also need, there are all these offices that currently report to the Prime Minister, including, you know, the ethics commissioner. That's an office that really needs to be strengthened and taken seriously, and should be reporting to Parliament and the nation as a whole. So in a sense, you know, you have to vote for the right people. That's also very important. But there are structural things we can do to really improve the way Parliament and our government works. And we have pages and pages of detailed recommendations on that online in our policy documents.
All right, Jin Siu, Mark wants to know how you would best restore his faith in politicians.
Hi, Mark. Thank you for your questions. Being an entrepreneur myself, and my succeed is honesty is the best policy. However, we have to concentrate on our economy action plan, the recovery of this economy, and certainly, I appreciate your question. The leadership that you're going to pick for Trinity Spadina will have to be accountable. I'm dedicated and I'm a hard worker, and I can assure you that I'm approachable, and issues that you have, your concern is my concern.
All right, Christine Innes, Mark needs his faith in politicians restored. Can you help him?
Yes, and Mark deserves to have that restored. I think it's up to all political leaders, all political representatives, to work hard to regain the trust and the respect between the institutions and the people that they are supposed to serve. There are a number of initiatives we put forward as a Liberal Party, and something would be a personal priority for mine. The political process ought to be a positive process. It ought to be about substantive ideas, making a difference in people's lives. If people lose faith, it's a very different tone. So we're talking about a number of initiatives, including an open government initiative, which is about transparency. All information, access to information inquiries should be done on a timely basis. They should be affordable, and they should be posted online. We want to commit to a people's question period. We need to reform question period. It needs to be, there are a number of models around the world that do work more effectively. There's theme-based question periods on substantive issues, giving opportunity to answer in more detail, sticking to the substance. And I'm really pleased, and we're getting a great reaction to the concept of what we call the people's question period, where the Prime Minister of this country would, on a regular basis, make him or herself available to open questions from Canada, unscripted, answered directly with people, to people. Okay. And also restraining the Prime Minister's powers in the system, in particular, the power to prorogue.
All right.
So there are a number of initiatives, and it would be absolutely a priority.
Restoring faith in politicians, Olivia Chow, what can you tell Mark?
Mark, Ottawa is broken. Stephen Harper came in promising that he's going to clean up Ottawa, get rid of the scandals, the Liberal scandal that brought them down because of sponsorship. Except he replaced the Liberal scandals with Conservative scandals, and he then put all the failed candidates, his friends, insiders, into the Senate and through all the appointments. So I think we need to reform the Senate, get rid of it, because right now they're using your dime campaigning. So reforming the Senate, making sure they can't do that, legislation to make sure that Parliament is open, that you don't have to wait forever to get the only way you can get information is through access to information requests. That's ridiculous because it's your Parliament. You should get the information. And also the appointments. There should be an appointment commissioner, arm's length. It shouldn't be the politicians that are appointing people on various board of directors. So that too is really important. One last thing, Mark. You deserve to have a clean government. You must trust your government. And I think to begin with, you should vote for a leader you can trust, and I think it starts there. If not, then really you can't have a parliament you can trust.
All right, thank you all very much. Here's MB on the line. MB, these are initials, does not wish to be known by his full name. NB, what's your question for the candidates?
This is my question. I am an immigrant and I always supported the Liberal. Now, the Liberal, I'm leaning towards the NDP. I want Ms. Chow to reassure me, if I vote NDP, if they're going to be the voice for the poor people in Ontario like myself, because every day I wake up, cost of living is going up, our pay remains the same. I mean, nobody's voicing any interest for the poorer class of Ontario. Could she guarantee me if I go into that phone booth on election day that they're going to be the voice for the poor of Ontario, someone like me? I'm tired of these people filling their pockets, just looking out for themselves and the rich. Who in Ottawa is looking out for the poor class of Ontario?
Okay.
Ms. Chow?
Thank you very much. I'll ask each candidate that, as a matter of fact. But I'll come to you first, Olivia Chow. MB wants to know if you'll be the voice for the poor.
MB, don't give up hope because I know what it means. I don't know whether you know this white band that I'm wearing. It is a pledge to make poverty history. I've been wearing it for many years, and it's a pledge to myself that I would never forget what it means for a child to go to bed hungry. Because in such a rich country like Canada, it's inexcusable to have so many people going to the food bank, whether it's seniors, kids, or families. So it is my pledge that we will tackle child poverty by increasing more funding to through the child tax benefit, making sure that the seniors will get more pensions so they can be lifted out of poverty. My mom, when she came to Canada, even though she was a teacher, she worked in a hotel for many, many years, and it was very tough. She came to Canada because of me, of course. So I know how hard it is, especially for immigrants, visible minorities, struggling day to day. But you're not alone out there. Do not lose faith. There are people that understand, people that care, people that want to make that change.
Thank you very much. Jin Su, MB wants to know how you can be the voice for the poor in Canada.
MB, thank you for your questions. Being an immigrant myself, and I can understand how NB feel. We have got the infrastructure, we have got the economic action plan, which includes the extra incomes for the seniors. But the unfortunate part here, it was being turned down by the opposition party on the March 22nd when we presented the budget. We also, under the leadership of Stephen Harper, we had right now in place a $400 million to the affordable housing projects. So that will certainly lighten the burden. And speaking of the seniors, I have canvassed and I have seen there are many seniors in the area. When I was the immediate past president of C Centers, I have had helped many seniors secure region parks and move them in while I was the president in C Centers for the past 7 years.
All right, okay. Christine Ennis, the question from MB was, she wants all candidates to be a voice for the poor. What would you say to her?
What I would say, MB, is that you could count on me for that. One of the reasons I'm most interested in public service is because I truly believe that we as a country are limited. We are not a successful country unless we take care of those who are most vulnerable. I have worked on that all of my life and will always continue to. Earlier today, I visited a number of homeless shelters, a youth shelter and a women's shelter. Those people are engaged. They know their rights. They want to be part of our process. I spoke to them about the foundation and our Liberal plan, which is sort of the foundation of a poverty reduction plan. For us, it's about restoring many of the cuts. You mentioned at the beginning of your question some of the struggles by immigrants to the very training funds that this Conservative government has cut. Those are a key part of giving people an opportunity when they get here. Family reunification is part of that as well, the whole family support process. Our education plan. The true belief we have as Liberals that if you get the grades in this country, you should get to go. Education, for me personally, is really the great equalizer of being able for any of us to achieve our dreams. We have an affordable housing framework. We are the government that had a housing minister. We had a housing minister because we believe that affordable housing is a key indicator and way to help people out of poverty. Our seniors plan, we delivered the first increase in the last government to the guaranteed income supplement, that supplement that goes to the lowest income seniors, and we have committed to doing it again because we understand that as we support those who are in need most, we are all strengthened by it, and that's who I am from my very roots.
All right, Rachel Barney, how could you be the voice for the poor? That's the question.
Well, thank you for that question. This is a huge issue for us. As a wealthy nation, we have a pretty disgraceful record, actually, under Stephen Harper's leadership of dealing with the issue of poverty. Child poverty especially, I think we're 26th out of 29 wealthy countries. We're near the bottom, and we could be doing so much more. And in Toronto especially, we are a city that's becoming divided into rich and poor, and there's a kind of social division and a level of difficulty for people struggling with issues like affordable housing that wasn't there back in the day. I grew up in the St. Lawrence Market area, in an area that was mixed income, affordable housing that had been built by the government, and that neighborhood really worked. It included a lot of immigrants who were benefiting from support structures that have really kind of fallen apart in recent years, and we need to bring those back. So I'm talking about things like affordable housing. Universal childcare is a huge issue for a lot of families that are struggling with poverty issues. We need to do those, and we need to do some big picture economic stuff too. Eliminate the income tax on households under the poverty line, and help people also on different kinds of benefits, like disability benefits, earn more before you start clawing that money back.
Okay. Here's a question from Magda, sent via her iPhone, and she says, I'm hearing a lot about help for families, especially those with children. I'm a single 35-year-old woman with no interest in starting a family. Why should I vote for any of you? Jinsu, let me start with you. I guess she wants some compelling reasons to vote for one of you.
Okay. Thank you for your questions. Obviously, under the leadership of Stephen Harper, our leader, we have 5 years of track records. We are focusing, and we are out of these deep recessions, which is envied by many other countries. We created almost 500,000 jobs. We believe in keep the taxes low, because by keeping the taxes low, we eliminate the competitions of the international, whereby the corporations are not moving out from the country. They will remain here because lower corporate taxes will maintain jobs. And we believe in that. When you have jobs, you have income,
Okay.
and it goes around. Thank you very much.
All right. All right, let's go to Olivia Chow. How can you pitch Magda for her vote?
Well, Magda, is that right?
Magda.
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 Magda. Magda, sorry.
Yes.
Not that you need any family doctors, but I don't know whether you have a family